So Pam Bondi has just been fired from the White House. She is not the Attorney General anymore. This stinks of a cover-up right now, ladies and gents. And listen, I really believe that Trump is not in the Epstein files. I don't think so. I think it would be so easy for the Democrats and the Biden government to have just put this out and say he was in it. Therefore, he's not going to be president. I don't believe he's in it. But firing her, I think he didn't like how she handled this whole situation. But stay tuned. I want to see how Fox News broke the news. And then we're going to jump onto ABC, who talked about this in particular. Let's not waste any time. This stinks of a cover-up, ladies and gentlemen.
Kaylee, I just got off the phone with President Trump. We have a big scoop. Pam Bondi will soon leave her job as the Attorney General. She is going to get a different job within the administration. It doesn't sound like there is any bad blood, but it does seem like they want her to go and do something else. And in an interim role, she will be replaced by Todd Blanche. Blanche is being elevated long-term to the Attorney General. There might be somebody else that the president wants to go in there.
Right. So it's a friendly separation. He just fired her because that's what technically, literally is. But they're friends and they still, whatever. Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that? I don't know. What did President Trump have to say? Let's show it on the screen right there. Pam Bondi is a great American patriot, a loyal friend who has faithfully served as my Attorney General over the past year. Pam did a tremendous job overseeing a massive crackdown in crime across our country, with murders plummeting to their lowest level since the 1900s. I mean, you know how Trump speaks, it's all so exaggerated, it's insane. We love Pam, and she will be transitioning to a much needed and important new job in the private sector. So it has nothing to do with this government. I mean, if it's going to be private, she's not going to move into somewhere else within the administration. That's obvious, right? What do you think about that? Listen, don't go anywhere, because I got ABC News, and I was watching that because I like to watch everybody to give me an open mind, information, facts, and to be open-minded and be neutral as I can and not fall for the BS, because I know Fox can be a bit deceiving at times, as well as CNN, as well as everybody else. So listen to everybody, and listen, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it, because what this guy says related to the Epstein files, and also on that Trump wasn't happy that she wasn't prosecuting his political enemies harder. And to be fair, she did do that. I mean, if there's no evidence to do anything else, what else is she supposed to do? I think this has to do with the Epstein files. But let's not waste any time. Let's get right into this juicy part. Pay attention.
John Carl for more on that. John, as Rachel mentioned, sources say the president was frustrated with ineffective prosecutions of his political rivals and also Bondi's handling of the Epstein files. What more are you hearing about why?
Look, in terms of the president himself, he was upset, and he had expressed some of this actually publicly, that Bondi hadn't more aggressively tried to prosecute his political enemies, which is really quite a statement, quite a fact when you consider that it was Bondi's Justice Department that brought indictments against James Comey, his former FBI director, and Letitia James, the Attorney General in New York, two of Trump's top political targets. Both those indictments were thrown out, though. And he also, Trump had pushed for an investigation into Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve, and Bondi's Justice Department has opened a criminal investigation that, most people have looked at and said there's nothing there. But nevertheless, they have gone and issued subpoenas to the Fed under Jerome Powell. So she has made quite an effort to carry out his wishes at retribution against his political enemies, but not enough for the president. And in terms of the handling of the Epstein files, this has really been a frustration throughout the administration.
This is the juicy part.
In the president's inner circle, just unhappy with how she has handled it, thinking that it's been a PR disaster, including her recent testimony on Capitol Hill. So those are the key factors. But here's the thing, Diana, I have to say that if Pam Bondi lost her job because of insufficiently carrying out the president's wishes on these matters, it is hard to imagine that there would be another attorney general who would be more fiercely and personally loyal to Donald Trump than Pam Bondi. We see now, as you heard Rachel report, that Todd Blanche, the current Deputy Attorney General, will now be the acting Attorney General. Now, Blanche is somebody who, of course, is the president's former personal defense attorney, has shown quite a bit of loyalty, but it's unclear what he would be able to carry out that Pam Bondi has not been able to carry out in terms of these politically charged cases against the president's enemies.
Right. So, and then you get into the situation where she backtracked on a lot of things that she said. Earlier, when this administration took over, she said that she hinted that there was a big client list, that there was a lot of people, that people will be surprised. She actually said, announced to release thousands of pages of documents, including flight logs and what she initially described as a client list promising transparency. And then later on, she backtracked on this situation, and it says that after her final announcement, she later stated that she was referring to general investigative documents and not a specific client list, following scrutiny that no such a document existed. As a matter of fact, she was quoted saying as well that she had the stack of documents waiting on her desk. And then she backtracked completely on this whole situation. If I remember correctly, I remember going back and remembering that President Trump was not happy with this whole situation, and he wasn't happy with how she reacted. They were together on one table, and she had to speak about this thing. She didn't like, or he didn't like the way she responded. I understand. I know that he didn't like how the PR situation and how it just didn't work out. But that was so long ago. Why the need to fire her right now? That is the main question that everybody is asking themselves. I don't know. I don't know, other than he doesn't like what's going on. As far as him or her trying to prosecute his political enemies, I agree with the gentleman there on the report. I don't know what else she could have done, really. I mean, obviously I don't know anything. I'm just giving my opinion. So I'm not buying that BS right now. I'm not buying that crap. What I do buy is that it has been a PR disaster, this whole Epstein files. I don't think that Trump is involved, because simply the Biden administration had these files long before. They could have exposed Trump if he was there. Why didn't they do it? There's a lot of Democrats in there. Maybe that's why they didn't. So they stay away from him so they don't get implicated as well. Maybe it's a whole corruption or corrupted files of everybody included, and therefore nobody says, you know what, this is where we draw the line. Let's not put this stuff out there. As a matter of fact, we've seen Bill Clinton's photos all over the place. So there are a lot of politicians in that. So I don't know. I don't think he's in there, but you let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you believe Trump is part of that and he's also part of this whole cover-up? But why would he fire her? And, well, actually thinking about it, why is he so friendly now with her? Because Trump, when it comes to firing or people leaving, he is very, very, very strong when it comes to his opinion. Look at what he did to Joe Kent, for God's sake. He decimated him for no reason. And Joe Kent turns the other cheek and keeps talking good about the president. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I want to know your opinion. I want to interact with you. Smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to Veteran Uncensored. I'm Chris Rodriguez, former military member. And yeah, let me know.